Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to follow up before I go into my line of questioning with Dr. Lori. You talked about an overabundance of caution. It's why we closed the bowling alley. It's why the airline took out the seats and reupholstered and recarpeted. We're hearing a lot about an overabundance of caution. From a purely health standpoint, wouldn't an overabundance of caution include an air travel ban complete to the affected countries like we've seen in some European countries?
No, I don't believe it would.
All right, I'm going to respectfully disagree. Now, I'm glad we're having this hearing today. This is my second hearing on Ebola, and I was actually really disturbed during the first hearing that the Homeland Security Committee had in Dallas to see the CDC pointing fingers at CBP pointing fingers at the National Institute of Health. It's one of the reasons I said we needed to appoint somebody to be the point person, someone where the buck stops. And the President chose Mr. Klain. I'm going to join with Mr. Gowdy in being a little skeptical of putting a lawyer instead of a doctor in the log, but Josh Earnest told reporters ultimately it will be his responsibility to make sure that all the government agencies who are responsible for aspects of this response, that their efforts are carefully integrated. He will also be playing a role in making sure decisions get made. I think one of the key things in that role is working with Congress, and I think he should be here today or at a hearing to be called very soon. We're the ones that signed the checks. We've already signed a $750 million check to fight this Ebola. I think he needs to be here. I also, part of the finger pointing we saw was the CDC saying the nurses in Texas broke protocol when I think they were following to the best of their ability what they were able to do. I think it was entirely inappropriate they threw the nurses under the bus. My wife is a nurse, and she and I were both were individually hurt and offended by that. I think these nurses were doing the best they could. And listen, an Ebola patient isn't always going to present at an Ebola center. They're going to show up at their local hospital when they show symptoms. Every hospital needs to be trained. And Ms. Berger, am I correct in saying your testimony is, what was the percentage that weren't prepared?
I believe it's 85 to 86%, but you have to remember these are voluntary guidelines. They're not mandates. And until there is a mandate from Congress or the President, we will continue to have.
I would think it may be I'm not a big fan of big government regulation, maybe the joint commissions or the states. Mr. Chairman, I'd also like to enter from the record a statement from Texas Health Resources. They were also thrown under the bus, and this is one of their responses to that. So I'd like to enter that for the record. Now, we've talked about who's not here. I want to talk about, since we do have Mr. Lumpkin and the General here, I wanted to ask a couple of quick questions about our military involvement. General, why did you join the military?
Served my country. My dad was a Marine.
And traditionally, the military's job has been to serve and protect this country with guns and bombs. I understand the mission is expanding, and you all are out now building health facilities in Ebola-plagued areas. Very laudable, but is this really what the military was designed for? Or is this? It seems like if you wanted to build health care facilities and help countries, you'd have joined the Peace Corps and not or USAID and not the military.
Sir, as Mr. Lumpkin stated, this is a national security threat, and as has been stated previously, the idea has been to fight this overseas so it doesn't further come back.
But is the military the only organization that can build hospitals, morgues, and treatment facilities? Aren't there thousands of, if not hundreds of thousands of contractors worldwide that can do that?
Absolutely, but we were asked to use our unique capabilities, as was stated further, to jumpstart this process, get it in place so we could turn it over to those organizations.
And so are these facilities going to be near existing facilities where Ebola patients? Are they going to be greenfield facilities or brownfield facilities? Are the locations nearby where patients are going to be congregating?
We've been asked to build treatment units and locations that were coordinated between USAID and the government of Liberia.
So very possibly you could be working on an expansion to an existing hospital that's treating Ebola victims. within those guidelines. Mr. Lumpkin, you look like you want to jump in on that.
No, of the ones we've been asked to construct per USAID, none of those are expansions. They're all unique, new Ebola treating units.
And so then you talked a little about PPE. What personnel will be wearing PPEs? Are they, I mean, you got 80-degree plus highly humid conditions in these countries, and the natural inclination is going to be, why do I need to wear this Tyvek suit?
That's a great question. So the protocols that will be followed are that all U.S. military personnel will be issued a basic set of PPE that they will have with them in country, but because of the temperatures and because, quite frankly, the jobs they'll be doing, they will not be required to wear it all the time.
I got one quick last question. There's been a lot of confusion about this 10 days and then 21 days. After the 10 days in Africa, they're going to come back to the United States and go to their unit and be monitored in the unit. Between the 12 hours that they're not being monitored by their unit, are they going to be able to ride a subway, see their girlfriend, go to a bowling alley and take an Uber?
They'll be on the military facility. They will be allowed to go home, either to the barracks or to their families, but obviously every 12 hours will limit their ability. Having to report to the unit every 12 hours will limit their ability to travel much further off base than you could go in order to get back for evening formation.
But you will be, all right, thank you very much. My time has expired.